Okay, for this video we are going to very quickly look at the idea of a component. We're also going to look at another tool called the tape measure tool. So we'll just get rid of that. So we'll start with the same process. We'll start with a member that's a 6x6. So we've got our views up here. We're going to look at our end view. We've done all this before. Drag this out, and then at the bottom of the box in the bottom right hand side down here, we're going to go 6,6. As usual, it looks like things have disappeared, but you can scroll down and just we'll grab our hand tool, just keep the origin where we can see it, and scroll down, bring the origin back, and there's our 6x6 box. And then we know that if we want to make that into a length, we can grab our pull tool, grab an isometric 3/4 view and just drag it out. And we're going to make that, let's make it 20 centimeters, sorry, 200 millimeters. And we will, sorry, I stuffed that up, 200. Done. And then we'll grab our hand tool and let's grab our rotate tool. So we'll rotate that around and we'll use our 2 fingers on the mouse pad and move up just so that we can zoom out. And there's our member, and we're going to talk about a group. Now we know that, sorry, about a component. We know with a group, we've already done groups here where we'll go select and we'll triple click 1, 2, 3. And if we right click, we can say make a group. So now the program treats all of those faces on this beam as one object, which makes it easier to work with if you want to think of it as one component or one group. Sorry, let's not get our terminology confused. So that's a group. Now if I was to make another beam, let's make another beam over, let's get the same view, let's do it here, let's go 6,6 and like that, grab our push pull tool, drag it out, make it 200 like the other one, done. So if I was to make that a group as well, the new beam that we just made, right click after triple clicking and go make group. So we've got 2 components now that are groups, that one and that one. So if I was to decide that I was going to do something to one of those groups, for instance, if I double click on this one and then I grab my pen tool and I move this up here like this, sorry, let's zoom in a little bit, like that, and then I grab my push-pull tool, boom. Notice that it didn't cut off the beam behind, it only cut this one off. So I'm going to Control Z to go back to where I started. So I'm going to explode these. So if I triple click on this and right click and say, hold on, no, if I right click on this and say explode, it's no longer a group. And if I right click on this one and say explode, they're no longer groups now. So now we're going to talk about making a component, and you'll see the difference. For this one here, if I right click and I say make component, and let's call this beam. You can give it any name you want really. So that's now a component. And you might say, well, how is a component different to a group? Well, we're going to see that now. So I'm going to delete, and I should have done that differently. So now I've made my life really difficult. Now I have to try and get rid of these down. Okay. Let's make it revolve around. Get our selection tool, select, delete. Okay. So we've now got a beam that is a group. So if I decide to select that one and grab my move tool, remember how we copied? We put the thing on there and we go control, hold down the control key, click with the move tool, and we've got another beam now. Now these two, that's a copy of a component rather than a copy of a group. So whatever I do to one will happen to the other one now. So if we zoom in, you will see the difference. So when we had groups, if I chop this beam off here, the other one wouldn't do the same. Okay, it wouldn't behave the same way. But now, watch what happens when if I get my selection tool, and I double click 1, 2, and then I grab my pen tool. Let's just get us so we can see both of them. If I get my pen tool and I do exactly what I did before and click, and then I grab my push-pull tool and I cut that, look what's happening. Okay, can you see both beams are behaving the same way? So if you want components that you want to change the same way, or parts you want to change the same way, you make them components rather than groups. So that is your components. Okay, the tape measure tool, I am going to introduce that very, very quickly because we're only 7 minutes in. What you can do with the tape measure is, say I wanted to mark, these are 20, these are, let's make them back to what the length they were. So we know these are 200 mils. So if we wanted to draw a line, we can see the blue dot appear. Now I can start dragging this along and you can see a marker line. So let's make it 50 mils. So at the moment it says 37, but I can let go and I can type in 50 in the bottom right hand corner in the box and hit enter, and it will go out to 50. And then I can grab this and drag it out, and I can say on the next one I'm going to make 70. So we go 70 and you go enter. And so you can put these anywhere you want. Let's make this 30. 30, enter. So as you can see, we have a way of marking out a little dotted line. So if you wanted to put a truss in a certain place or a member in a certain place, it's still a way of marking a certain point. So let's go to the other end and let's do a few. Do it a few more times. So we grab our tape measure tool, go to the center of that vertical point till it becomes blue, hold down, drag out, and then you can put an amount in. So 30, and it puts it in that location. Click once, drag out, put in the and hit 50. Over here I'm going to go 20. So the first thing I do is find the blue, click once and then drag it, and then go 25. Enter, and it goes to 25. So that's how you do that. So you can mark out lines using the tape measure tool, and that's a useful tool to have too. Anyway, we now know how to explode a part. So if I wanted to, you can explode a group and make it back into separate parts, and you can do that with a component as well. So if I grab my selection tool and right click on one of these, it should allow me to explode, I'm pretty sure. Right click, explode, boom, and now it's no longer a component. Have a go at that. Play with the tape measure tool, play with the idea of components, and hopefully we're getting closer to being able to use this program to design a truss, a full truss, and then a bridge. We'll do that in the next video. We might look at starting to create a truss.